With the World Cup just ending its course, teams worldwide will start their games in the domestic leagues. Leagues like the French, German, and even Spanish are closer than ever in between points at the moment. But for the English teams, there may only be two victors at the end, Arsenal or Manchester City. These teams will go toe-to-toe throughout the second half of the season, as I see no reason why Arsenal would slow down. This is especially prevalent since the only significant injury they picked up in the World Cup was the Gabriel Jesus injury. This injury only sidelined him for a few weeks, and it should be fit in the next following weeks. There are still plenty of games left to play, but it seems impossible for Liverpool. It's tough to exclude Liverpool from the race this season, but they don't have the personnel to reach the top this year, especially when they are far apart from the top leader in the league. Also, for the first time in many seasons, teams have figured out Liverpool and have been able to draw against them or even take a win away. It's a hard stretch to say that Liverpool has no chance of winning the league, but many of their players are injured, and the ones that aren't injured are not good enough to be in the starting 11 at Liverpool. When looking a little into the midfield, this is a major problem I see in their squad. They have had so many injuries there, and that's why they have to resort to players like Milner and Harvey Elliott. Even though they are good in some regard, Milner is on a decline, and it shows sometimes on the pitch. On the other hand, Harvey Elliott is a good prospect, but he is still young, and Liverpool needs more experienced players and does not have enough time to develop young talent with the demands of their supporters. In their defense, if they were to lose a massive player like Van Dijk or Joe Matip, that would set them back 100%. Liverpool is so dependent on their defenders that they forget how successful they were when they brought Van Dijk. The quality he brings to the table is undeniable, and if he were to get injured, Liverpool would definitely get a setback. For their attacking options, I think Liverpool's options are good enough, and I know they will figure it out, but the injury of Luis Diaz has brought more options like Carvalho and Harvey Elliott into the starting 11, which is something I don't like. I don't think Liverpool has the time to develop talent like that, and they only have time to get results week in and week out. But in that regard, I think that they are set on the attack. Another thing to take into consideration is that Salah isn't having a great season, a mediocre one at best. For some reason, when watching their game, Salah hasn't been able to convert his chances, which ruins the team overall by not being able to win games. It also doesn't help that he decides not to pass the ball when there's an obvious chance near the goal line. This would improve the team as a whole, and I think Liverpool would win more games if he were less dominant with the ball. This is a pet peeve that I have about Salah, but it totally makes sense that his drive and ego demands more goals from him. In order to become the best, he needs to score more goals, so in that regard, I understand Salah. I also believe that Salah's African final versus Sadio Mane ruined his self-esteem, as I noticed after the loss of the final, his form hasn't been good after the defeat. I'm not so sure if that's the primary reason, but that had to play a huge part in why his performances have been low ever since. I think it's okay for teams to have a bad season if they don't continue this form forever. The only good side is that they can focus more on the Champions League. I know Klopp likes to prioritize all competitions, but the Champions League is where they can have more success this season, but that's just me. They have all the weapons for a knockout competition, and they have proved that they are one of the top teams in the Champions League, and especially when they're facing Real Madrid at the moment. In the end, I hope I am wrong about this. I want the league to be as competitive as possible, which would be great for English football, especially after the disappointing exit at the World Cup. So yeah, this is what I think. If you guys disagree, leave a comment down below, and I'll catch you on the next one.